Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council's Program, Finance, and Administration Committee, also known as the PFAC meeting. My name is Deborah Nelson, and I am the Director of the Office of Policy, Planning, and Performance at the New York State Department of Transportation. And it's my pleasure to serve as the Chair of PFAC. I am representing the New York State Commissioner of Transportation, Marie-Therese Dominguez. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on the NYMTC website within the next 2 weeks. Today's meeting is available by webinar, as well as in person at the NYMTC office located at 25 Beaver Street, Lower Manhattan. For the meeting audience who are on the webinar, your lines will remain muted throughout the meeting. The chat pod is being monitored by the NYMTC staff. During the public participation section on the agenda, registered speakers will be called on in the order of their registration. Registered speakers who are participating by webinar will be called on and their lines unmuted for their remarks. At this time, I will begin the roll call. When I say your agency, I ask that each representative state your name and the NYMTC principal that you are representing. As I mentioned, well, first I'll start with the voting. As I mentioned, I'm Deborah Nelson, and I am representing the New York State Department of Transportation Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez. New York City Department of Transportation.
Hi, this is Yogesh Sangvi, representing New York City DOT Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez.
Yogesh, New York City Department of City Planning.
Good morning, everyone. Jack Schmidt. I'm representing City Planning Commission Chair and Director of the Department, Daniel Garodnik.
Thank you, Jack. Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Good morning. Stephanie Delisle, representing Chair and Executive Director, Jana Lieber.
Thank you, Stephanie. Nassau County.
Good morning, David Viana, representing Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman.
Thank you, David. Suffolk County.
Hi, this is Chris Chatterton, representing County Executive Steve Ballone.
Thank you, Chris. Rockland County.
Pat Gurton, representing Rockland County Executive Ed Day.
Thank you, Pat. Putnam County.
John Tully, representing County Executive Kevin Byrne.
Thank you, John. And Westchester County.
Kelly Sheehan, representing Westchester County Executive George Latimer.
Thank you, Kelly. And now we'll go on to the advisory members. Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Good morning. I'm Jay Sheffield, representing Port Authority Executive Director Rick Cotton.
Thank you, Jay. Do we have anyone here from New Jersey Transit? Okay. North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority? All right. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Okay. Federal Transit Administration?
Hi, this is Dan Moser, representing FTA Region 2 Administrator Stephen Goodman.
Thank you, Dan. Federal Highway Administration.
Don Amani, representing New York Division Administrator Rick Markey.
Thank you, Gautam. And do we have anyone from the United States Environmental Protection Agency? Okay. Well, thank you. By my count and under our operating procedures, we have a quorum for today's meeting. We will start the meeting today with an executive director's report. We haven't had one of those for a while, and it's my pleasure to welcome Adam Levine, who is our newly appointed executive director for NYMTC. Adam, welcome to NYMTC, and welcome to your official PFAC meeting, and we look forward to your report.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, everyone. I am very excited to be here. At our annual meeting in February and at many PFAC meetings over the past 15 or 20 years, I have been a fascinated observer of the great work that the NYMTC team has done to support support our members in improving the transportation network for all who live, work, and travel to New York City, the lower Hudson Valley, and Long Island. Now that I have the honor of joining the team, I am looking forward to continuing and building on that great work. That starts with listening to the staff and to the members. I've spent quite a lot of time meeting with our amazing staff over the past few weeks, and I'll be starting to meet with our no less amazing members next month. Jack Schmidt from New York City Planning, thank you for volunteering to go first. I can't wait for those conversations to get underway. I'm told I should include a brief bio for those who are wondering why the lead singer from Maroon 5 is working at NYMTC. It's tempting to sing this part, which would quickly answer that question, but I'll spare everyone, at least this time. No promises at our next PFAC meeting. Prior to joining the team last month, I spent my career at New York State DOT, working in each of the 3 downstate regions. My experience to this point has been in traffic engineering and operations, public and governmental affairs, and roadway design. In addition, I worked on the team that helped restore West Street adjacent to the World Trade Center in the early to mid-aughts. My entire career has been about collaboration. I always believe that when we work together, we can come together and bring our individual talents and abilities to bear on a common goal. We always make it better than it was before. So that is something I'm certainly going to be focusing on in the days and months ahead. And I'll close this section by noting that I'm a proud 2007 graduate of the NYMTC Executive Development Program. Now to business, the Executive Director's Report. The following are some of the more major events that have taken place since our last meeting in February. We'll start off with some very good news. On March 31st, our federal partners officially submitted the 2023 certification review for the NYMTC planning area to our co-chairs. The report is required to ensure that NYMTC is carrying out applicable provisions of federal law. It included 9 commendations to recognize best practices, as well as many noteworthy achievements, and several recommendations. We look forward to working with FHWA and FTA in the days ahead to continue our good work and to consider those recommendations. With respect to the Transportation Improvement Plan, or TIP, we just announced a public comment period for proposed amendments to the TIP for federal fiscal years 2023 to 2027. The public comment period began yesterday, April 19th, and will continue through April 28th. Details can be found on the NYMTC website at www.nymtc.org. On March 31st, the New York Best Practice Model, or NYBPM, for 2019 was released to member agencies and has also been provided to a few consultants who have requested it. This model updates the NYBPM 2012 model to the base year 2019 and includes some new features, such as the incorporation of cashless tolling, as well as transportation network companies like Uber and Lyft. 3 levels of NYBPM 2019 training sessions were held during the week of April 3rd. The training was provided by Cambridge Systematics, our NYBPM 2019 project consultant, and all sessions were well attended, including by most of our member agencies, as well as a representative from Cornell University. Feedback on the training was very positive. The transportation conformity determination effort is underway and is expected to be completed by late summer, early autumn. Work on the next regional transportation plan, which will carry us to 2055, is in full swing. Staff is working with the PFAC Plan Subcommittee, and the Public Outreach Plan anticipates getting underway over the summer and into autumn. Upcoming public meetings include the Metropolitan Mobility Network on May 3rd and the spring meeting of the Metropolitan Area Planning Forum, known as the MAP Forum, slated for June 2nd. Finally, for now, 2 community planning workshops are being organized in Westchester and Putnam counties next month. Details to follow. And with that, I will pass the virtual microphone back over to Deb.
Thank you, Adam. It's always nice to hear all the good work that the NYMTC staff are doing to keep the region rolling. So thank you so much. We will now begin the public participation segment of this meeting. We will hear from registered speakers with prepared remarks. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to give their remarks. We will hear from these participants in the order they have registered. We ask that all speakers limit their comments to relevant transportation and planning related items. Andrea, are there any registered speakers for today's meeting?
No, there are not. Thank you.
Okay, well then, we'll move on to the action items then. The first action item on the agenda is to adopt the meeting synopsis. But before we go to that, I want to mention that All material related to any of the action items have been posted on the NYMTC website at www.nymtc.org. That's NYMTC.org. So as I mentioned, the first action item is to accept the February 9th, 2023 meeting synopsis. I ask that all voting members announce your name and the agency you represent when you either make or second a motion. May I have a motion to accept the February 9th, 2023 meeting synopsis?
Motion, Kelly Sheehan, Westchester County.
Thank you, Kelly. And may I have a second?
Second, David Viana, Nassau County.
Thank you, David. Does anyone object to the motion? All right, well then, hearing no objections, the meeting synopsis is accepted. Thank you all. The next action item is to adopt Resolution 557, Resilience Improvement Plan Addendum to the Federal Fiscal Years 2022-2050 Regional Transportation Plan. Jerry Bogas of NYMTC staff will give a presentation to introduce this resolution, and this presentation will also include the introduction to the next action, item number 558, the Safety Addendum to the Federal Fiscal Years 2022-2050 Regional Transportation Plan. So then after the presentation, we will vote on both resolutions. So Jerry, please tell us a bit about these resolutions.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Is my sound quality good?
That's very good, thank you.
Okay. All right, so this brief presentation will cover both of these resolutions. They are unique in that they are both addenda to the Regional Transportation Plan, targeted at specific programs under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. So if we can go to the next slide. So there are two relevant funding programs here. Whoops, go back, please. Go back one, please. Thank you. There are two relevant funding programs. The first one is the Safe Streets and Roads for All Discretionary Grant Program, or SS4A. This is a discretionary funding to improve roadway safety by significantly reducing or eliminating roadway fatalities and serious injuries. As part of this program, a safety action plan is required, and it is the foundation of the program. Applicants must have an action plan or an existing plan or plans that is or are substantially similar in order to be able to apply for implementation grants. The addendum is intended to address that issue. Next slide, please. So we started with an assessment of the existing plans. Basically, an eligibility worksheet was provided in the SS4A guidance to assess similarity to an action plan. And two existing NYMTC or NYMTC member plans were assessed using that worksheet. One was the New York City Vision Zero plans, which were assessed as being substantially similar to an action plan. And the second was the NYMTC Moving Forward Safety Goal Module, that is the Regional Transportation Plan's Safety Goal Module. And there's a link to that here. That was assessed as being close to a safety action plan, but not quite there. Next slide, please. So the Vision Zero plan did meet the eligibility criteria, and New York City was able to apply for implementation grants in the fiscal 22 round, and they did receive one award, as you can see in the box below. This is an article in the Gothamist about the Delancey Street project. That was an implementation grant awarded under the fiscal 22 round of the SS4A program. Next slide. So the safety addendum that is on the agenda today results from the fact that the safety goal module in the Regional Transportation Plan met most but not all of the eligibility criteria. So the addendum was developed to address the eligibility gaps, and today's adoption of the addendum will allow applications for implementation grants in NYMTC suburban areas as long as they're consistent with the addendum. Next slide, please. The other relevant federal funding program is the This is a tortured acronym, but the Promoting Resilient Operations for Transformative, Efficient, and Cost-Saving Transportation, or PROTECT program. PROTECT has both discretionary and formula funding components to it that are supposed to improve surface transportation resilience to natural hazards. Now, a resilience improvement plan can be developed for the immediate and long-range resilience planning activities and investments in order to reduce the amount of non-federal share of the project costs. So this is not a requirement, unlike the Safety Action Plan. It's rather optional, but if we have one, the non-federal share of the project costs for at least a discretionary program will be reduced. Next slide, please. So the RIP, Resilience Improvement Plan Addendum, was developed largely from Moving Forward's Resilience Goal module. It enhances the module per the guidance that's been included for the PROTECT program, and the adoption of the addendum today will allow the applications for PROTECT grants, particularly the discretionary grants, to take advantage of the reduced non-federal share. Next slide. So Resolution 557 will adopt the Resilience Improvement Plan Addendum for the PROTECT program, and that will become part of the Regional Transportation Plan. And Resolution 558 will adopt the Safety Addendum for the SS4A program, which again will be part of the Regional Transportation Plan. I believe that is the last slide, right, Inke? It is indeed. So staff urges the members to adopt both of these resolutions. If there are any questions, happy to try to answer.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I would like to make a just short statement. I'd like to thank the NYMTC staff for stepping up and showing the initiative with these, and also for working closely with the members to really find a positive balance to be able to deliver these actions in a timely way, but to also make the documents readable. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. That's a really good point. All right. If there's no other questions or comments, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 557, the Resilience Improvement Plan Addendum to the Federal Fiscal Years 2022-2050 Regional Transportation Plan?
Yes, I'd like to make that motion. Jack Schmidt, New York City Department of City Planning.
Thank you, Jack. And may I have a second?
This is John Tully from Putnam County. I'd like to make that second.
Great, thank you, John. And is there any discussion? All right. Well, we will now vote by roll call, starting with the Lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County?
Aye.
Rockland County?
Aye.
Westchester County?
Aye.
All right, now we'll move on to Long Island. Nassau County?
Aye.
Suffolk County?
Aye.
And then New York City Department of Transportation.
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
And finally, Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye.
And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. And thank you, Jerry and NYMTC staff. Now, as you mentioned, we're voting for the second resolution for 558, the Safety Addendum to Federal Fiscal Years 2022-2050 Regional Transportation Plan. May I have a motion for that resolution?
Motion, Pat Gurdon, Rockland County.
Thank you, Pat. And may I have a second?
Second, David Viana, Nassau County.
Thank you, David. And is there any discussion? All right, well, we'll move on then to the vote. We will now vote for Resolution 558 by roll call. Again, starting in the Lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County.
Aye.
Rockland County.
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
And then for Long Island, Nassau County.
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
Okay, New York City Department of Transportation,
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning,
Aye.
and now the Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye.
And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. So now the next action item is to adopt Resolution 559 for amendments to the state fiscal year 2023 to 2024 Unified Planning Work Program. I now ask to Alan of NYMTC staff to introduce this resolution.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is resolution number 559, which, as Deb said, these are amendments to the state fiscal year 2023 through 2024 UPWP. So this resolution has two parts. The first part is to add the Shinnecock Indian Nation's comprehensive roadway infrastructure planning and design services to the NYMTC UPWP's related planning activities, which are funded through other sources. In other words, not funded directly through the UPWP. The nation is a sovereign, federally recognized tribe with a duty to ensure the safety of its citizens, and the nation received a Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE grant, for comprehensive roadway infrastructure planning and design services for the nation's existing roads. Of this RAISE grant, they received $157,755. In addition, attachment 2 for this resolution relates to NYMTC staff actions, and these are actions to add unspent funds to the current program for consultant services in support of NYMTC's core program work. NYMTC staff has reviewed these actions and found them to be consistent with the plan. In addition, no new funding is requested for any of these actions. NYMTC staff requests that the PFAC please adopt this resolution. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Setu. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 559, the amendments to the state fiscal year 2023-2024 Unified Planning Work Program?
Motion, Chris Chatterton, Suffolk County.
Thank you, Chris. And may I have a second?
Second, Jack Schmidt, New York City Department of City Planning.
Thank you, Jack. And is there any discussion? All right, well, we'll vote by roll call, starting with the Lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County.
Aye.
Rockland County.
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
And then for Long Island, Nassau County.
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
And for New York City Department of Transportation.
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
And finally, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye.
And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. So the next PFAC meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 15th, 2023. Details of this meeting will be made available 2 weeks prior to the meeting date. So to conclude today's meeting, I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
John Tully from Putnam County will make that motion.
Thank you, John. And may I have a second?
Second, David Viana, Nassau County.
Thank you, David. And does anyone object to this motion? All right, well, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. It's nice to see you all, and I look forward to seeing you all again in June.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Deb. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.